All right, all right, all right. Good Friday morning, everybody. Dee-lee-lee-lee. Okay, let's do this thing. Simphiwe is here with me. She is on the show this morning, bright and shiny as always, and ready to take on the day. I had a really good day yesterday. I mean, we obviously had a little function, which a lot of companies are having at the moment. We did our one for all of our clients, and we had food, and we had drink, and we had fun, and it was really cool. It was good to see everybody. In fact, I got a couple of pictures here for you, which will make you a bit jealous if you weren't there. So here's a picture.
3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Keep penny. Keep penny.
A 500 rand discount on your next purchase at Auto Trader.
Very nice. That's George Meany with Jane. If you couldn't see it, they pulled a cracker, and those crackers had bullshit in them. They always do, though, right? And they cost a fortune. Am I right?
Yes, I don't know why we keep buying into that scam. Like things that we must leave in 2022, crackers, please.
I agree. It's a scam. Bullshit. That is some bullshit. Anyway, it was good to see everybody. We had all of the important people who do shows, who've sponsored shows, who've been part of our year of continued success, I'm happy to say, at Cliff Central. And it was nice to see everybody and kind of end the year on a high, which is the plan. And it was the 1st of Dezemba. So it's here now. I know. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I am so ready. Like I don't know what it is about this particular December, but everyone is just, it's a different vibe. Everyone is just like, let's make December our personality. Let's just go out there and be merry.
Do you remember, like last year this time, everything was still shut down. Like we couldn't travel anywhere in the world. We were blamed for Omicron, remember? And
Yes.
South Africa was basically closed off from the rest of the world. And now, this year, we get to have foreign tourists come here. We get to go wherever we want. And in the country, I think people are just like breathing a sigh of relief. Plus, I mean, we might, I don't think this is necessarily good news, but we might have a new president very, very soon without, it's all going down.
When we thought we are just going to relax, get into it, just be like, let's reflect on the year. What was good? What was bad? Nope. We might have a change, and we just are like, what is happening now?
What is the protocol for Dezemba?
So there's a whole list. I did not draft it. There's a whole list of December protocol, and here it is. First, every morning, bath or shower and be ready for anything. Number 1. Number 2, cooler box. Move from the garage to the boot. 3, today's salary has to stretch throughout. 4, December is one long Saturday. Know your drink choices and combos. You had the whole year to figure it out.
Yep.
My over 30s, make drinking water your habit.
Yep.
If I borrow you a power bank, leave your phone charging on the table. No drinking and driving, please. Get Uber vouchers now.
Yes.
Respect the bouncer or security personnel because they hold the key to your enjoyment. Order your drinks and pay for them without running a tab. Now, this is the cooler box tab. This is just for the cooler box. Don't stick your hand in there if you have not contributed. When we invite you and you know that the coins aren't good, please let us know in advance.
What does that mean?
So if they say you don't have enough money to buy or contribute to alcohol, let them know. Don't just be like, yeah. If you put Black Label in the cooler box, do not take out a Corona, please. Champagne and whiskey don't go well with a kota or muhodu. So please eat properly.
By the way, George wants to throw this in. He's up and at him early this morning. He says you've got to wash the cooler box first. Big deal. Because there's
Yes.
nothing worse than people with those manky, stinky old cooler boxes, and it's got like shit at the bottom that's been gathering all year, and you've left it
Yeah.
in the garage, and then you bring it to some party, and there's like cockroaches swimming in the water at the bottom, and
They're so eager to take it out. Oh, use my cooler box. No, hygiene
yeah.
is very important. So
Very.
yeah, music. Please don't be selfish with playlists. When invited to a braai, have the decency to ask if you should bring anything. If a person hosts, by law, the leftover bottles should stay with them. Ungamnithisi, which means don't get anyone pregnant this December. January
Right.
awaits you. Make sure you have enough coins.
Say that one again. That's important.
Ungamnithisi, don't get anyone pregnant this December, please. Be safe out there.
Yes.
The second location is a bad idea. Be fun, have fun.
Uh-huh.
Check your handbag before leaving to make sure you have everything. And then make sure you send "I'm home safe" texts. Those are very vital.
Big important
December
one, yes. Listen, I love those last two, especially because whenever I've had people around to my house, they always forget something, and then it's a pain in the backside to like get it back to them. It's just unnecessary irritation and stupidity. Yeah, someone leaves a vape, or someone leaves their handbag, or they leave their phone, or they have something. There's always something. It's very annoying. And I like that last one of like, let people know when you're home safely. Very important.
It's crucial. But that's how you have fun in December of 2022. That is the protocol. And I like it. You know, it's have fun, but responsibly.
Pumlani says, the last time I listened to Simphiwe's Dezemba tips, I got kicked out of a New Year's party. So Pumlani's in no hurry to listen to you. Yeah, a lot of also people have got plenty of other advice. If you've got some other advice, then let us know. And
yes.
George also says, don't drunk dial anybody. That's very good. Very good.
Please, we don't want to hear how much you love me when you're drunk. Like, we don't want to hear that. I'd be like, I care for you so much. Oh, you need a world to be severe. Stop that nonsense.
You are so important to me.
Stop it. I don't want to hear it. Like, I will hang up the phone if I hear that you're drunk. We're not doing that this year.
Tracy says, just keep your shit together, literally and figuratively. Don't be a douchebag.
Yes.
Well, we're already there. It's the 2nd of December today. Ben will not be joining us because he's doing some golf thing, and he was at the party yesterday, so he apologized in advance. But it is also his birthday today, so happy birthday, Ben! There he is with George, Mimi, and I, and there are a lot of other people there. But he's in a good mood. He actually had a shirt saying, what does it say there? Something are born in December. Something. Winners or something else.
Amazing. I don't know.
Listen, we got to talk about something else. Barrett, who works for us, uses an old school camera. And I said to Ryan, he's got to get a picture of this. Who still uses a separate camera from their phone? Here's Barrett with his camera. Look, it's not a phone. It's a camera. It's like one of those click. And it's got a lens that comes out and everything. And by the way, it's not one of those fancy cameras that you would use if you were like, taking long distance pictures of the wildlife or you were in the paparazzi. It's one of those. Why does he have that? Why would anyone have that in 2022? Your phone probably takes a better. Your phone has got like what 4K like pictures on it now or something. Why would you do that?
This is Barrett that we're talking about, and he lives in his own planet. He lives in his own world. He's the same guy that will still buy CDs. He does not subscribe to any like music platforms. He's just like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, I want to get the music and artist and support the artist fully, so he'll get the CD. And I'm just like, wow, okay. So the camera was a bit of a surprise when we did see him like take it out for the first time. We're like, oh, what is that? That is a vintage thing. I'm sure that came out when I was born. And he's just he's not getting rid of it. He loves it. It's Barrett.
Yeah, listen, fine. I mean, it's some people are old school about things. I think that there's still people who like to use VCRs, like a video cassette recorder, and then there are people, and they have like home movies or whatever on old VCR, and people who collect vinyl, for example, people who collect
Okay,
vinyl
vinyls are cool.
records. You see,
No,
like
but they
some of
brought
it
it
is cool.
back. They brought it back. So it's cool now. Like if you have a whole vinyl collection, that is so dope. That's like, oh my word. But like in
Mm.
J&J, before it came back into fashion, I would have looked at you sideways and I'm like, why do you still have vinyls when we have like
Yeah, I think that's a bit weird. I'm just trying to see. I used to have one of those cameras, but I don't even think I've got it anymore. I think I threw it out because it just look. No, it's gone. I'm sure it's gone for years now. But one of those ones like Barrett has, and I just stopped using it eventually because I was like, well, I've got my phone. Why would I carry another thing around?
no,
You know.
right? And it's also
Anyway,
just keeping up with the times of technology and how cameras have evolved. And it's
right.
just like I would not like if I had that camera, I'd be like, no, guys, I don't have a camera. And we'll just use a phone to take pictures, you know? But
Well,
not Gareth.
also, like I had a really, really cool week this week. I met some amazing people. I had 2 incredible lunches with 2 really, really smart, brilliant people. We had our client function yesterday. I don't think I took a picture of any of it. I mean, I showed you those pictures now that Ryan took, and like I saw Lebang was taking a couple of pictures and things too. But I, I prefer to have some things to just be memories in my head. Not
Mhm.
all of them need to be on the phone.
But you see, Gareth, we live in a time that if you don't post it, did it even happen? You know,
Yeah,
or
I know.
you talking about the week, and I'm just like, did it really happen? Did you really hang out with Ben? And then, claps, there's a picture. Oh, okay, yes, that truly happened.
Well,
I could believe it now.
yeah, but you see, I don't give a shit if people believe me or not. I couldn't care less. Like if you don't believe me, that's your problem, not mine. I mean, I'm also going to Cape Town today. Um, a friend of mine is he's doing an event and he's got a bit of a celebration and all the rest. So I thought I'd kick December off properly.
Mhm.
And yeah, I probably won't take any pictures there either. It'll probably just be a fun living in the moment thing, you know? So we'll see. But there are people who they're so busy taking the pictures, they're not actually taking in the moment.
Yes,
You know what I mean? So
yes,
people
yes.
people aren't actually living in the experience. They're so busy gathering content from that experience that they're not enjoying it.
Mhm.
And someone like Justice here agrees with you. He says, if you don't post, it didn't happen. Simphiwe is right. Tracy
There's a
says,
beauty.
when
Mhm.
there's an event and a friend would ask me, do you mind bringing your camera? No. Are you inviting me as a friend or as a photographer? Just offer to take a few with their phone. Well, I wouldn't even offer to take a few with their phone either. I mean, if you've got a friend who's a photographer and you invite them just because you want them to do photographs for you, like you got to pay them. Sorry.
Mhm. Yes.
Right.
In fact, if you're inviting your photographer friend to an event, they should not have to take pictures. Everyone else should do that job. Um,
Hmm.
and everybody else should try and impress them. You know, that's the day where we all try to impress the photographer. Be like, did I take a good picture? Did I get the right side? And you're taking it on your phone. Like, really,
But
like
it
relax.
must be exhausting for a photographer who's constantly being asked by everybody, like, "What do you think of my pictures? What do you think of my pictures?" And actually, the photographer's like, "I just want to get another drink. Actually, I don't give a shit about the pictures."
Or probably they're
Uh,
like, this is the worst picture I've ever seen, but I'm not gonna break your
mhm,
heart.
exactly. So we've got a couple of interesting things happening this morning. We've got Vinny Lingham is going to be joining us. I had
Yes.
dinner with him a couple of weeks ago when he was in South Africa, and he is a acclaimed serial entrepreneur. He's founded a number of incredibly successful businesses. He's originally from South Africa. He now lives in California, and he knows everybody. Like he has all the cool kids on speed dial. He's like a Silicon Valley operator. So when this guy says to you, he just name drops, oh, Elon or Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg. He knows these people. He actually he goes to dinners with these guys. I mean, I was talking to him. I said to him, David Sachs, because David Sachs is also a really incredible investor and entrepreneur, and also kind of social commentator. Originally from South Africa, he's also made an absolute fortune in technology in California. Really, really smart guy. He's, yeah. David and I, we were together like last Thursday. This is the kind of thing. He knows everybody. So we'll talk to him. We'll also find out about his latest venture. And he has an idea to make South Africa instantly a richer country. Instantly.
Ooh.
And I mean, we should
Okay.
be listening with both ears when someone like that has something like that to tell us. So I'm looking forward to speaking to Vinny a little bit later on. We will also talk a little bit about some of the news that's been going on today. I've got this cool email from Eric, who's a listener of ours. He says, hey, Gareth and team, been listening since May 22. Been a fan of you guys since you were on radio, and then life interrupted. I finally got time to catch up on the podcasts, most of all the Cliff Central ones. I'm from Cape Town originally, and now I'm in China. Almost every time you've been mentioning China on the podcast, I want to jump on the comments and correct some of what you're saying. Luckily, nothing too serious. Collectomania is also fun and interesting. Beyond Madness is quite the eye-opener. Overall, very informative, fun to listen to. Missing South Africa a lot, regardless of all the nonsense going on in the government. Shame. Best of luck there. Hi, Shem. Dezemba, Shem. What is that? This is our theme. And by the way, Mapelo sent me an Instagram message yesterday. Also, one of our listeners said, no, Mapelo's come up with the theme for this December. Remember last time it was what?
I think it was Asibe Happy and Naki.
Happy. Okay,
That
so
was
this
last
one is
year.
not right. This one.
Next week in December. Next week in December. I can't happy Shem.
Aki Happy Shem.
Happy Shem. The Shem is very important. Like it has
Very
that
important.
Happy Shem.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this end of the year. We're going to be doing the show, by the way, until the 23rd.
Correct.
So we're here every day. Although I think, Simphiwe, aren't you taking some time first? You're the first one to take some time, right?
Yes, I am. So
No
my
wonder you're so
December
excited about December.
officially kicks in on the 15th because the 16th is a public holiday. So ready. I am ready to just let loose, have fun. Get happy. Like I think I'm one person who's like, yeah, can the 15th just come already? Like I can just,
Oh,
I
nice.
need my Saturday to just start already. Hey.
So I'm excited about a few things. I obviously just love me some Christmas. I love all the lights and the Christmas music and the Christmas decorations and all of that stuff. I've got a big kind of family Christmas planned this year, which is going to be lovely. Everybody's here. My brother and sister-in-law, my sister and her boyfriend, the kids, the parents. So it's like, that's special. I'm looking forward to that. The other thing I'm really keen on is like sleeping late, even if it's just for those 2 weeks that we're not here, right? Just sleeping late, lying in bed, and it's not a weekend, and you wake up and you're like, I can go back to sleep for another half an hour, or 2 hours if I want.
Oh, no. It's
Nice.
that moment where you pick up your phone and you switch off your alarms. Then you know it's real. You're like,
That's the greatest. And if you do feel like it, you go out with friends or you invite friends round or whatever. If you don't feel like it, you just chill, watch a movie, make some tea or coffee, or you drink something if you want to. You have a little party on your own, or you have a little party with some people. Always good. That's what I love about this time of year. My
it's like
favorite
you
thing.
get to do life on your own terms, and it's so
Yeah.
amazing. Like you don't have to be responsible. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to be with anyone if you don't want to be with them. It's like I don't need to read emails. I can
Yeah.
just chill
Oh.
and Netflix and chill the whole day, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's the best thing ever. I think after like 2 weeks, you realize, okay, you're like, oh, okay, no, can't do this. But it was great whilst it lasted,
Well,
and you get
like
back
I
into
always,
the.
I always think about those people who are like, I wish I was rich. I'd be on holiday all year round. But you wouldn't. You'd be bored because first of all, you'd be the only one on holiday all year round, which is horrible because that's like you're the only one who has money and your friends are all poor, or you're the only one who has a car and all your friends don't, or you know how it is when you're at when you're at varsity, for example, and you have like lots of time off between lectures, but everyone else is working. And what are you going to do? Sit on your own the whole time. So again, you want to get back to work because you need something to do. And if you don't have a purpose for the life in between the holidays, I don't think that's so good. I think that's quite shit, actually. So people have got to get on with their lives, have things to look forward to. Speaking of which, there are a few things that I needed to talk about this morning and a couple of pictures and things that I got to show you. But it seems like everyone's in a good mood. I see lots and lots of celebrations, awards, end of year functions, all of that stuff taking place, which also means people are winding down at the workplace. There is something frustrating, and I kind of get it when people say they like to work through December because they then get January, get a nice week or two in January instead of in December. But there's nothing to do. And it made me think about like all these people who work in government or people who work for like their parents or for their uncle or whatever, because there is actually nothing worse than sitting around with nothing to do, pretending that you're busy. And if you're in the office, I don't get FOMO. You know this. There's an event or there's a party or something and I'm not invited, I'm cool with that. But if I'm sitting at a desk working, going into the office, and I know everyone else is having a good time, that'll kill me. So
I don't know how people do it. There's a running joke, like every Friday they're like, people with MacBooks, you can close them at 12, and then people with the Dell and HP, they'll keep the country going. Like you guys can stress about making sure and it's just like, yeah, I don't like it's a different vibe when it's even on Fridays when you know a lot of people are just out and about genuinely, like they've already wind down 3 o'clock, and you still at the office slept. You're like, yo, do I really have to be here? Do I have to finish this? Do I really? It's like you can feel that pressure of I just want to be out.
Yeah.
You want to be with the kids and I don't know. Shout out to people that are working during December. I don't know
Good
how
for
you
them.
do it. But also they're the ones who get to brag and be like, oh, I'm on holiday. Jan. And you're like, damn, I wish that was me. So
Yeah,
quiet.
Tracy says, I'm in for a great December. No mother-in-law. Christmas came early. What, did she die? Yeah. Ricky says, I remember the varsity days. Those fuckers driving up in the parking with their father's Volvos while I pulled up in my mother's pink Uno. A pink Uno.
Pink one?
Listen, I haven't seen an Uno for a long time on the roads, huh?
Yeah, no, like
When did
sure.
you see one?
That's a good
I
question.
don't think
Thinking
any of
about
them.
it.
I think all of them rusted. Like 10 years in, there isn't anything left.
But a pink one, like I feel like that is trauma. Do you want to unpack that? Like having to drive around in a pink Uno, like you are unmissable.
Yes, that's power. Yeah, people would know you've come. You've arrived at the party. I'm like, here in my pink Uno. Oh, there comes Simphiwe in a pink Uno.
They probably heard you. Yeah, they heard you as you're coming as well. They're like, that noise sounds familiar. Pink. Yeah, it's Simphiwe.
Yeah. All right. Sasha says, so we're just going to talk about Christmas, bruh. Mkhize to be president. All right. Listen, we do no politics Fridays most of the time. I have no insights into what is going on in the clusterfuck that is the ANC. I have nothing to say. I have nothing to add of value. And I'm not going to be one of those people who tries to say something interesting or useful when I have nothing to say that's interesting or useful. I'm not going to waste your time. You shouldn't have to waste mine. I have no expert information for you. I'm terribly, terribly sorry. There's just nothing I can tell you. Now, I mean, we can sit here and we can, I could throw out like a whole bunch of bullshit that I'm just reading on the internet. I don't know it's going to be helpful for you. And I also think that there are people, I mean, yesterday, for example, we had Kanthan and Pumi, and we had Jacques Poe on, and it was a really, really great burning platform, but also a great kind of expose of what's really going on. And you got these three brilliant people, and then me, and I was the least informed person on the show yesterday, and I'm not even embarrassed about it. There's so much going on in that disgraceful mess of a political party that you can't keep up. So I'm happy to say, December, if you're coming to this show for political updates, you're going to be horribly disappointed on every day of the week except Thursday when Pumi's here. I'm not going to be paying attention. I do not know what's going on. And I'm fuck that. I'm not going to spend my time worrying about that shit in December. Sorry. You want to know that stuff? Go somewhere else. You could tell us maybe. Maybe you come on the show. If you're listening to us now, and Sasha, you might know a whole lot.
Gareth?
There we go. Plus, I don't think that these politicians ever take a break from stealing and from lying and from messing all of us around. So I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm enjoying my last month of the year. The rand is already like, I think we're 1 rand worse off to the dollar than we were 24 hours ago because of this shit. So you know what these guys are like. I honestly can't add any value, Sasha, but I appreciate you letting us know. And if you could tell us, that would be awesome. So a couple of people have some theories about the Unos. Esh, says George, when I was young, my friends and their Uno turbos, he reckons they all crashed, by the way. That's why none of them left anymore. Lovely Lady Lee says, my first boyfriend out of high school drove an Uno. When did you first, Red Robin, when did you first begin to suspect that the ANC was corrupt, Gareth? Oh, listen, I've got a long history of this. I started saying this long before everybody else said it was cool, right? I wrote a letter to President Zuma, right at the beginning of his term, and I got into big trouble, if you remember. I was invited to go and I'm trying to see where that cartoon, I've got a Zapiro cartoon that he did of me, because no one was criticizing the ANC then, especially not white people, because they were so, they're going to call me a racist, so they never said anything. So I wrote this letter to President Zuma, an open letter, which I published, and it went everywhere. I had friends in New York and London and Sydney reading this thing, and I thought, I've really looked for shit now. I'm going to be in big trouble. I remember the president's spokesperson, who at that stage was Zizi Kodwa, who's now a minister, called me up on my phone. I don't know how he got my number, but they've got all our numbers. And then I had to go and explain myself to him. And we ended up having a really cool lunch and had a big discussion about this. And I said to him, you can't stop me from saying what I think. And he said, I can't stop you, but just know that, we don't appreciate what you said here, kind of thing. And I that was 14 years ago. So you want to know when I started, Robin? I started thinking about how corrupt this mess was back then. One of the paragraphs in my letter was about ESCOM 14 years ago. And everyone else was like, no, the ANC are great. They're really awesome, and catered deployment's terrific.
Really?
I was like, yeah. Anyway, but that's water under the bridge. I didn't get to influence things in a positive way. I just had a letter out there, and I'm in the media. I'm not in government. So cry me a river. There's a lot of river metaphors coming up this morning. David John says, Boney M. Oh, that's coming. If it isn't here already, it's coming. I heard some of it in the shops the other day. Audrey says, I will never forget what Fiat stands for. Fix it again, Tony.
Love that.
Billy says, I miss the brandy Christmas pudding my nan made with shiny hidden coins. My grandmother also used to do that. So she would make one of those little Christmas puddings, or she'd buy one. I don't know if she made it or bought it, with the fruit cake and everything. And then she would boil and clean a whole bunch of coins and hide them in the pudding. So you would get your you'd get your little piece of the pudding after Christmas dinner on the night of Christmas Eve, and you might find a 5 rand, which was a lot of money.
Was a lot of money.
When you were a kid. Now it's worth shit, but it used to be worth something.
You can still give it to a kid in jail just to be like, there you go. But okay, that's interesting. We've never done that. I don't think we'll start now, but that's interesting.
Oh, it's expensive. Johan says, My red Uno Fire was rusted as fuck, but it was on fire. See, now suddenly everybody's Uno memories are coming. Vyasan says, my family drove from Durban to Cape Town in an Uno. 6 of them. I still don't know how they did it in one drive.
Guys, hi. You are those type of people that always amaze me. I don't know if you've ever been to like a party and like a small car, like an Uno will park, and then people start coming out. And it's like the driver, the passenger, another passenger, another one, another one, another one. Like there's 50,000 people just coming out of the small car, and you're like, how, Sway?
I think we did a thing on campus at university where we tried to squeeze as many students into it as possible. And one of those Unos was the car. And I think we got like 12, but they were all like squeezed in. Like there was not even breathing room. And I think they won. Maybe they even won the car if they could squeeze the most people in. I can't even remember who won it, but no, we had an event. I promise you. They squeezed like 12 or even 15. I don't know what the number was. A lot of people got into that thing, and it was tiny.
That needs to be a world record. How do you guys do that?
When I was learning to drive, says Dads, I crashed my mom's brand new Uno. She was in the passenger seat. Hey, boy. I saw a green Uno early this week, says Henny. A guy and his son with big mullets were driving. Sherry says that all the Unos are in Mayerton, making all the noise, still trying to dice you from stop street to stop street. There's only one robot in Mayerton.
Sure.
Right, at least we know where they are. That's good.
So the theory of them being all crashed out the way. Sorry, George, you're wrong.
Ricky says that Uno was more at the mechanic than I was at our house. It was enough motivation to get my degree and get out of poverty. Those were the days. Sanela says, your boyfriend out of high school drove an Uno, and how come you're no longer together? I guess he wasn't the one. Oh, wow. Kampamba says, did you see the train wreck of an interview between Kanye and Alex Jones? What a mess. This Kanye is now, I think he's really spinning out of control. I just wish someone would shut him up. If someone cares, if someone is around Kanye right now and they know him and they care about him, they should just tell motherfucker to just stop, dude. Just stop.
I think he's not okay because they finally settled his divorce, and he now has to pay like 200K to Kim Kardashian per month for like per child. So that's almost 800K
Oh my God.
that he's gonna be paying to Kim Kardashian. Not like she needs the money.
That's a lot of money.
But that's a lot of money. So I think I might understand why he's wiling out and tripping, and he's just like, he's not okay because that's a lot of money.
No. Just don't let him do any interviews, please.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, can we not talk about Kanye? Can we just still focus and be angry at Balenciaga and how Kim Kardashian has not said anything? Like, really. I think that's where everyone's attention should be. Instead of Kanye West doing interview. Hey, this lady basically drafted a story on some, I'm so disgusted by Balenciaga. And as a mother of 4, I'm going to reevaluate my partnership with them. And that's it.
Yeah, she didn't say, I'm not going to spend. By the way, I've heard so many songs with Balenciaga in them at the moment. Are all those people going to redo those songs?
I don't know. I hope.
You know how Balenciaga became such a big brand? They make disgusting shit, and their advertising is revolting. Like whether it's this pedophile shit they got going on now, or any of the stuff that came before. You remember those runway shows? You and I were making fun of them, Simphiwe, beginning of this year.
That's with those, they just look so weird, and they're basically walking in garbage bags, and we must pay 200K for a single bag for that thing. They've always been messed up. They've always been like, I don't understand. But right now, everyone's having Kim Kardashian. They're like, why have you not said anything? Especially as someone who wears it from head until toe. You've been very vocal about you support this brand. And now for you can't even like cut ties. And you're like, I'm a mother of 4. Shut up. But
Bullshit.
hey.
Bullshit. We don't believe you. Okay, what did I have to throw in here? The news headlines. Let's take a look. We'll try to avoid politics, like I said, but it's not always possible. So please forgive me if I break the rule myself, and I'm not totally. First of all, here's some useful advice from one of our listeners who sent this to me. It's a book that he found, and it may be helpful to anyone who lives in KwaZulu-Natal or who's going there on a holiday. So Jason sent this to us. It's a great book, How to Swim and Avoid Sewage.
Ooh.
So if you are swimming in Umhlanga, what's the other place that's been affected? Umtloti, all the way down the south coast, I think they're all right. But there are basically going to be human turds that are going past you. So this is it looks like a lovely children's book, How to Swim and Avoid Sewage. So good luck to anybody who's going to do that for their holidays. I think you would be better placed, and I'm not being mean to KZN here, but you'd probably be better placed to just stay home and maybe, ask a friend who's got a pool if you don't have one yourself, if you can come around and chill at the pool. That's probably safer because you don't want to swim past turds. Do you? No. No turds. No. Turds would not be a good thing. I think everybody's on the same page on that front. All right. So some news. The UK is looking for someone to help fix South Africa's cities. I don't know why they are busy looking for this. We should be. But maybe they've just, maybe again, someone somewhere goes, your cities are really shit. We need to do something. Anyway, there's a UKSA urban resilience program, which has apparently been going for a while. They want to enable inclusive, sustainable, and climate resilient economic development in South African cities. This sounds good because, frankly, a lot of our cities could use all the help we could get, but they are offering between 1 million and 1.5 million pounds to an organization that can deliver data technology and evidence capabilities in South African cities as part of a broader development program. They want to help commission in Pretoria, Cape Town, Joburg, and Durban a new program built on urban governance, spatial planning, and economic development. And they're going to do it with us here in South Africa. So we're like a guinea pig. And frankly, I would like this because we are a guinea pig. And we're happy for anyone to come in and make the guinea pig better. Right?
Yes, and that the money ones incentive. I like the numbers that they were talking. I don't know how expensive it would be to actually do what they want, but it seems like something I'd want to just also find out more
£1 million.
about.
£1 million. Right? Listen, if this is something you've studied or it's something then you must contact the British High Commission because it's part of what Silili, the squirrel, went to do in the UK. So hey, someone could make £1 million.
So hey, maybe that's what.
My God, what a disaster. All right. So Meghan and Harry have started a series called Behind Closed Doors. Anyone else feel sick to their stomachs when they think of these two and how trashy they are? The BBC is reporting this morning. Before I give my opinion, let's actually read what's going on here. A trailer for Prince Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary has been released, offering a first glimpse as to what the couple might say in the inside story of why they stepped down from royal duties. No one sees what's happening behind closed doors, says Prince Harry. When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us? Meghan adds. These guys are just trying desperately. I can't believe the two people who've got such great lives and have landed with their asses in the butter are so desperate for attention. She says it comes against the backdrop of a royal race row as comments to a black guest at Buckingham Palace. This was apparently a big deal this week. I don't know anything about that either, but I'll obviously read some stuff in the interim. I've tried to avoid clickbait shit because if there was a guest at Buckingham Palace and someone said something to the guest, how the hell does that affect me? Not at all. Right?
I'm just in awe on how they're milking this. I'm just like, okay, you guys first left. You did the interview with Oprah. Then she got a podcast. Now it's like this behind the scenes. It's wow. You guys are really milking. I did not know we needed to hear the story 50,000 times on 50,000 different platforms. But wow.
Let me show you a few pictures that will make you think that these two are absolutely on the. They are just. They cannot go any lower. I don't think they even realize how much damage they're doing to themselves, let alone, the royal family. I think the royal family be fine, but Harry and Meghan look so trashy. So here's some pictures from the documentary trailer. The first one is her and Harry in the kitchen. They're all dressed up. I mean, what a posed bullshit photograph, right?
Yeah, like okay. This is what they look like in the house, just a normal
Well,
couple.
I think
Great.
they're obviously going to some event here. It looks like Harry might even be wearing uniform there, or at least he's got a black tie on, and maybe whatever. The fact is they posed in the kitchen. It's like this loving kiss. It's just it's so American. That's all I could say about that. And then here's the two of them having fun on the beach. Way too much fun. It looks almost like they're trying too hard to convince you they're having fun. And here's a picture of Meghan, a still frame from the documentary trailer where she's crying while her phone is in her hand. She's crying. Where? Because poor Meghan, her life is so shit. Living in Malibu, millions in the bank, great acting career, or at least a moderately good acting career in the background. People are calling her princess and your royal highness. Life is so hard. Oh, poor me. This is such bullshit. Such bullshit. So good luck, Harry and Meghan. Let's see what happens. I won't be watching your dumb documentary unless it's out of morbid fascination, and then I'll have more things to criticize you for.
Don't do it.
I had to do everything I could to protect my family, Prince Harry said in the teaser script for his 15 rated 6-part series. What's a 15 rated? I don't know what that
I
means.
have-
Oh, it's like age restricted 15.
okay.
The trailer sets the scene. Fast forward of some previously unseen black and white images from a young couple messing around to later tense and tearful images of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. This is intercut with a picture of the Princess of Wales looking rather ferociously ahead. So they're going to make Kate Middleton look shit. That's their plan as well. These two are just unbelievable. Ugh. Netflix has not confirmed a release date, although it expects to begin next week already. Whatever.
What I will not be watching.
World AIDS Day was yesterday. South Africa must work harder to eradicate the disease, says the Minister of Health, Joe Pahla. Now,
I just almost fell asleep there, Gareth. What did you just read?
I know. I'm going to say it again. This is an actual news headline, and we're meant to take this man seriously. South Africa must work harder to eradicate the disease of AIDS. If I were one of the people in South Africa who were living with HIV, which is the terminology we now use because people can get antiretrovirals and they can live with HIV, they don't have to die because of it. Mm-hmm. And this moron from the government said, we are going to work harder to eradicate the disease. I would also fall asleep. I would be like, this is not, these guys talk, hey? And World AIDS Day has become like another day to grandstand. I saw the United Nations post this. I actually took a screenshot of this thing. I was like, what? A lot of shit. The United Nations posted this ridiculous thing. I might even have deleted it. But it's like them with the AIDS ribbon saying, World AIDS Day, the UN stands with people suffering like you. If you're someone who's living with HIV, the only thing that was missing from your life was the UN hadn't told you they stand with you. Like, who's that helping?
If there's one thing they can do, is just talk. Just yep. Yeah, no, give us solutions. Like, if you're serious about this, be like, we've looked at this crisis, and here's the rollout plan and how we plan. Here's the 10-year plan. Then that's amazing. But this yappity, we need to stand together. Yappity, oh.
And it's such cheap. Like it's an easy point to score, right? So
yes.
You, as a company or as the United Nations or whoever else, you just put out this thing saying we stand with XY. It's like that doesn't cost you anything, and it shouldn't earn you anything. It is a cheap, low friction, it's total lip service. There's nothing
Yes.
valuable going on there. Who is the most streamed artist of the year? Well, people are asking. Apparently, the most streamed artist of the year from Spotify is. Do you want to know? I've never heard of
Can
it.
I take a guess? Can I?
Go,
Oh,
go.
you've never heard of them. That means I might not know them. I was good. I think Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. That's who that is.
I was
Who the
gonna.
hell? Who the hell is Bad Bunny?
There's some person that I don't even listen to Bad Bunny. I was gonna be like Adele. She dropped an album. Drake. He dropped a whole like
Taylor Swift is. Taylor Swift, everybody's like going gaga over Taylor Swift still. I was like, okay, music hasn't moved on at all.
Okay,
But
can I name and shame? Can I just
Yeah,
name
go.
and shame, right? Because I
Go
don't
for it.
listen to Taylor, but we have a whole Ryan and a whole Mash that have been gagging over Taylor Swift's new album, and they've been playing her music in the office, and they're just like, oh, the song is so amazing. Oh,
Oh, what a
Memorize. Oh, Jules. Oh, yeah. Oh, Taylor Swift.
That is awful.
I was like, wow, when did we get you, guys? Taylor Swift. But
Yeah, that's
Bad
embarrassing.
Bunny.
Okay, but
I
who
don't
is
even
Bad
know his
Bunny?
song.
Who is
He's
Bad Bunny?
He's an artist. I think he does some rap. I don't know. The thing is, I don't even listen to his music. I just know his face. And he's the most streamed artist.
Yeah. I don't know how. This guy is. I've never seen this guy. If he walked past me in Checkers tomorrow, I wouldn't know it was him. Who is Bad Bunny? This is the most streamed person. This shows you like music is dead.
No,
Music has
I'm
died.
I'm so worried. There's like amazing artists that have dropped albums this year. Like Kendrick Lamar dropped. And that was great. Like, I mean, he's not there. We have Bad Bunny.
Yeah. I mean, really?
Gareth, I
this
feel
is
like I'm
good.
old. I don't
Simphiwe, welcome to my world.
look, it's too soon. It's too soon to be feeling
too
this
soon.
way.
All right, let's try and let's vent a little bit this morning. So, I was on my way to the office yesterday morning. Luckily, I just got onto the highway, and I got a call, and somebody said to me, "Do not go on the N1. The EFF have decided to make, I don't know, a picnic in the middle of the N1 near New Road." So I was like, oh, for God's sake. I had to find this alternative route, which was horrible. And it took me an extra half an hour to get to the office. And then they were still there on the way home. So I had to find another way home as well. It was just a lot of unnecessary irritation. And I know for me, it was easy because at least I had the information beforehand. A lot of people went onto the highway like they usually do every day. And that highway is already shit without any problems. I want to know who the EFF think they are to wreck other people's day. Now, apparently,
What was this about?
Exactly.
What happened?
It took me asking everyone I could think would know why these people would be doing this on the highway. Here, by the way, here's just to give you some insight. If you are watching us on the YouTube, like and subscribe, and then you can get to do things like this. Just watch. This is an actual video taken by one of the EFF guys. This is maddening. I just want you to know when you watch this. If you're listening, I'll explain afterwards what's going on. But this is actual footage from yesterday, and these EFF morons are disrupting people's lives. Hardworking South Africans who don't give a shit about them. And whatever it is, they are busy protesting. Who knows what it was? The fact that so few people know, and I'll tell you what it supposedly was afterwards, but the fact that so few people know about this or care about it, don't they realize this is making them less popular, not more? I want to buy one of those trucks like in Mad Max and just push them all off the road, like scrape them off the road. Because there's a woman in a camping chair, among other things, just sitting there, middle of the highway. So look at this video if you're on YouTube, and you'll see what
We can run and shoot the center. Shoot the center. We can run and shoot the center. We can run and shoot.
First of all, what a shit song. Really. If that's the best you got, then even Bad Bunny deserves to be at the top of the streaming. You were at the bottom of it. So just based on what you saw there, do you want to try and explain what you saw? Because I watched this yesterday. I was like, oh, South Africa, really? By the way, this is in a week where the president might be replaced, where the rand is dropping, where we've still got severe unemployment, and these idiots are blocking the highway with bullshit. I'll tell you what they were protesting about in a minute. But Simphiwe, do you want to explain what you saw?
I saw a couple of people on the highway. I don't know why they on there. And then there's literally a woman sitting in a camp chair. I was left speechless. I don't understand why they were there in the first place. But even like just from that clip alone, whatever you're going to say, Gareth, I'm going to be mad because if you're going to be stopping the highway for whatever reason, I think if someone's going to capture footage of it, we should be able to understand or see that, oh, this is the cause. You guys are upset at the fact that there's potholes or this and that. It seemed like it was another day they called each other, hey, Chief, let's chill on the highway. Let's have a gathering and just, you know, bring a camp chair. This is how we open up December. And it's, no.
I got to tell you what it is because people get annoyed if I make them wait any longer. It was all because of Janusz Valus, who's the killer of Chris Hani, who might get parole, who was apparently stabbed. I mean, again, this is a story I haven't really followed, and I apologize to those people who expect me to be the information guy. But apparently something which happened back in 1993, 92 even, I can't remember. Of course, a major historical event. This guy's been in jail for 27 years. Nobody cares anymore about him. And I promise you, even the Hani family, who are obviously still very upset and have every right to be. I don't like, why are the EFF doing this on December the 1st to the people of South Africa? This is not our fault collectively as the people of South Africa. If you really don't like the fact that Janusz Valus is going to be released from jail, there are better ways for you to show your irritation with the system.
I have a few questions. Why the highway then? I don't understand that.
Right.
Number two, if you guys are that upset, why are you not at the courthouse? Like, singena in your upsetness. Where do we fit in as a nation?
And number three, why don't the police just arrest these guys and open the highway? How is it that a handful, because you could see it wasn't a lot of people. How is it that a handful of people can hold up thousands of cars on the highway? We need to arrest these people. Arrest them. Do we not have police? We know these are the guys who will pull you over for your tires not being, your license expiring. But they won't arrest 20 people who have held up thousands of hardworking South Africans on the busiest highway in the country. Send them straight to jail for the whole of December. Let's see how they like Dezemba when they're sitting in jail. Send them to jail. Seriously.
And why are they speaking on behalf of South Africans? Like, I can understand why yes, you are upset. You have every right to be upset for you yourself, but do not speak on behalf of South Africans. Like, this man served his time. If it's time for him to be released, you can say that you're a bit upset or whatever, but do not speak on behalf of the whole of South. Like, really? And then you're gonna do this? No, man. Like, and people are like, also what's frustrating about that is that, people are trying to get to work. People are trying to make money. People are trying to better themselves. And there they are chilling on a camp chair. Really?
Yeah, they are they're just destructive. They just want to break everything down. They want to fuck up whatever is left working because they can't make anything work themselves. So better to just reduce everything else to rubble so that they will be judged by the rubble. Rather than by things that work. Because anything that works makes the EFF look stupid because they can't make anything work. All right. But by the way, just to make you feel better, because you need to do these things and we don't want to be depressed this morning, and I said we're not doing politics, But this happens in the UK and in France. You've got those climate change protesters who are like the most irritating people you've ever seen in your life. And they also glue themselves to the highways and roads, and they block traffic. There was a video I shared on Instagram yesterday, in France, I think it is, where a bunch of these protesters wearing those reflective jackets are sitting in the road, and like trucks and cars are backed up for miles because these guys now want to get, I don't know, climate change to the top of the agenda or what. Nobody, they don't have a plan. None of them have any idea of how climate change is supposed to work or how we can prevent it or how we can slow it down. But they like disrupting, just like the EFF. So this is happening in France. It's happening in the UK. It's happening in other places as well. Anyway, this one guy has enough. This big French truck driver. He gets out of his truck and he picks these people up in one hand. He's like this big, strong guy. He picks them up and he throws them on the side of the road. And then they just lie there.
Love it.
Now suddenly they're too scared to do anything. They just lie there. These little fucking weak, pathetic, useless protesters who are trying to gain, I don't know, points from their friends who are studying social anthropology at some bullshit university. And they're lying there on the side of the road. They thought their protest would go well. And this one big truck driver's like, fuck you, picks them up and moves them. Now we need one or two big truck drivers to do this to the EFF. I can promise you now, if someone, not even just one person, like you need a lot of people. If just the first 3 rows of cars, all the men get out of those cars, all of them together, they get up and they walk into this mess and they pick up each EFF person, slap them in the face, throw them onto the side of the road and let the traffic flow. They will be heroes, national heroes. Everybody except the EFF's top brass will think these people are incredible. You want to become famous? People are always looking for a reason to be famous. Do this. I'm not one for violence, but if you block up a highway and the police seem completely incompetent and unable to do anything, let the citizens take control, right?
Yeah, I think the police were busy attending that AIDS conference where our minister was telling us we must stand together. They were busy looking out for that security or any dangers there. That's why, Gareth.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think, like, just take them out. Ancient Ether says a gunfight will break out. Well, that's fine. Then let that be the way.
That would be interesting.
Yes, can you imagine? All right, it's 7 o'clock. When we come back, we'll have plenty of good stuff to get to. I have got to show you a video of a former Twitter employee who's been speaking out on various news services in America. And I frankly cannot believe the kind of people who were moderating Twitter, the kind of people who were in charge of making sure that your and my and everyone else who uses Twitter or used to use Twitter, our comments are acceptable. The censors, we're finally getting to see who the people were who made the important decisions at Twitter, because they've been fired now and they're all crying about how they don't have a job. And wait till you see this person. You are going to plutz, to put it into Yiddish. You're going to plutz when you see who this person is who was in charge of like censoring Twitter. What an unbelievable human being. So that's coming. Vinny Lingham will join us later on, the serial entrepreneur, startup investor, and all-round amazing guy. And we'll hear from George Meany a bit later on with the Auto Trader Pod. Simphiwe and I are here to take care of you this morning, look after you. Don't go anywhere. It's 7 o'clock.
This week on the Auto Trader Podcast.
What is the electric car challenge, and why do we do it, and what was the findings from this year's one? Because we've done it before.
Yeah, no, we've done it before. So we pioneered this thing as Auto Trader, and our objective here is to test the cars year after year in the same conditions.
Yeah, this is electric cars.
Electric cars, yeah, only electric cars, in the same conditions. And the reason we want to do this is because, first of all, WLTP, right, which is the range that a car is quoted to have, it's not a lie. Okay.
Every time you listen to that 80s show, Tom Cruise lives another 10 years. Every Friday on CliffCentral.com, Paolo and Dory review movies, reminisce about old songs, remember childhood places that are now car parks, and say some outrageously rude things about Patrick Swayze's brother. That 80s show, new episode every Friday, live or as a podcast on CliffCentral.com.
Yeah, good morning. And if you've just woken up, you just joined us, it is a beautiful Friday morning. We're well into December now, and the weekend is here. We got lots of good stuff to talk about this morning, and we're going to get to speak to somebody who is really, really cool. He's really interesting. He does phenomenal things, and he's got some great ideas for South Africa. I actually had dinner with him just the other day, and he was like just brainstorming or what do you call it when someone's just like throwing ideas, spitballing? That's what they call it. Ideas about what we can do to make South Africa better. Because even though he doesn't live here anymore, he still cares about it. He's got family and friends here. And he came up with like this genius idea that would immediately make South Africa a more sensible place. And I actually pitched this to two people at a lunch I was at last Saturday, and they both went, "Oh my God, that's brilliant." So without wasting any time, let me bring on Vinny Lingham, a globally acclaimed serial entrepreneur, also a founder of many, many businesses. He's originally from South Africa. He now lives in California. He is a Silicon Valley tech brilliant man. He's also got a latest business venture he wants to tell us about in a moment. Here he is. Vinny, nice to see you. How are you?
Hey, Gareth, good to see you.
Yeah, very good, man. First of all, are you safely back at home and settled back in California?
I am. I'm over the jet lag.
No, I'm sure. Yes, a long flight. So, Vinny, let's just get to this big idea straight away because it's too good to waste any time, and we can talk about all kinds of other stuff just now. You were at this dinner, and you just threw this out here, and like everybody I've pitched this to says, "Oh my God, that could immediately make the economy that much better. It would help ordinary South Africans, wage and salary earners." Just explain, like as simply as possible, what we could do with what we've already got in a better way that could, enhance and revolutionize things.
So it's not even my idea. It's just more about like the way the world works in America. And when I moved across from South Africa, it was kind of a weird thing. I was like, wow, this is interesting. So let me tell you what it is. In America, no matter how much you earn, whether you're at lowest income or you're earning millions of dollars a year, you get paid twice a month. And there's no like negative stigma attached to this. You get a paycheck on the 15th and the 30th of every month, and your paycheck's divided by 2. Now, the reason this is interesting and important is that in America, they're really focusing on, obviously cash flow for people. And how often do people run out of money by the 20th of the month and they're going to, get through the last 10 days? And the second thing is like the work that you do on the first, second, third, first 10, 15, 25 days of the month, you're financing the company you work for, you're financing their cash flow. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah. And so you basically have to wait on the first of the month, you have to wait probably 24 to 30 days to get paid for that money. So you are effectively at that point a creditor of the business. And in South Africa, that money is owed to you legally anyway, right? In other parts of the world as well. So the employees are obviously first in line if anything goes wrong in the company. But in ordinary course of business, you can improve the cash flow for South Africans if we can destigmatize the idea of moving from a monthly salary to, paid every 2 weeks. It doesn't have to be wages weekly. It can just be every 2 weeks. And so trying to get a movement together, I think, especially for cash businesses at the very least, if you're a cash business, you be paying your employees every week or, at least twice a month. But this once a month thing is terrible for South Africa, especially in a rising interest rate economy, because now you're losing money that you could be earning interest on that money.
But also there's a knock-on effect in that if you pay people twice or 3 times a month, depending on how many weeks there are in a month, that gives them 3 paydays, which means they can also spend or they can budget or they can do whatever they want accordingly. Some people, they could pay their rent on the first 2-week salary check. The next 2-week one could help them with their car payments and all their other things. And then the third one they could use for all the incidentals. I mean, it could be a really, really clever way of just
it doesn't
stimulating spending.
Yeah, let's just start with 2. Let's just call it like, hashtag double payday, okay, on Twitter or something, and just start a conversation and get people start talking about this, because I think it's really, really important that South Africans start to understand the time value of that money and how much faster the money would flow through the economy. The other thing is interesting is, like, my dad actually was over here. He made this observation, like, oh, don't people wait till end of the month to spend money? Because in South Africa, businesses really do well in the last week of the month, especially like food businesses, entertainment. And, I totally forgot about that. Obviously, I've been living here for too long. And he made this comment the other day. And I was like, no, Dad, people get paid twice a month. And they get paid on the 15th and 30th. So, like, the business cycle is a lot smoother. People go out more. They have a better time. They budget better. And also budgeting better. When you have two payments a month, you actually spend, like, how many people basically struggle the last 10 days and they get their paycheck and they blow it all in a couple of days, right?
Right.
The first week, because they feel deprived or whatever. This smooths it out for the economy and for people's lives.
And there's some part of this that, as you've already mentioned, is like, it's your money already from day one. You start working, and then the company is earning interest on your day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as you go through the month, and then they only have to pay you on the 30th day. I mean, it's crazy.
So I invested in a company called Zebek in California, and what they're doing now is they're busy building a solution where you stream the payments as you're working to a user's wallet. So like, a crypto wallet, whatever. So you can get paid in dollars in a crypto wallet every day, like per hour, per minute. It's just flowing into your wallet while you work in the company. So you're literally dripping money out of the company while you're working there. And so there's no delay for the hours you worked that day. You're getting paid instantly. And that applies, obviously it's very like advanced right now. They're trying to get the technology right, but they're working with payroll companies to solve this problem so that it's even smoother than once a month or twice a month.
And for the employer, it's also good because you don't have to make all these big cash payments on the last day of the month or on the 25th of the month, which obviously has security risks. We know all about like cash in transit heists and ATMs and how crazy it gets on the last.
But let's take that a step further. That point a step further, Gareth. Like the companies, let's say, for example, a company says to you, we can't do this because we can't afford it. What they really are saying is that the shareholders of the company don't want to pay the financing costs of the business. And therefore, as an employee, you have to finance the company's 30 days worth of cash flow. Right. And so the shareholders are making more money because they don't have to finance, because you're financing the business by working and getting paid 30 days in advance or delayed. And so that's a very important point to get through here. As employees, you don't, in South Africa especially, you don't really have shares in companies like you do in Silicon Valley. There's no reason to do this. And even in Silicon Valley, they pay you twice a month. So we have to get away from the idea that employees have to finance the companies. Shareholders need to finance their companies. They're making the profits. It shouldn't be on the burden of the employee.
So Carl is complaining in the comments. He says, I love Vinny, but this is a horrible idea. We employ 300 people and payroll is already a nightmare. Now you want me to do it twice. Fuck that. So what do we say to Carl?
No, look, not every business is going to do it, right? And I guess this is the other important point. Businesses who do it and pay their employees more regularly are going to attract better talent. This is like capitalism at its best. And I appreciate that some businesses can't do it, but then you have to look at the economics of the business. If you cannot sustainably run your business where you're paying your employees on a more regular basis than 30 days, then there's something wrong with the economics of the business. And then if it's a financing issue or debt issue or an interest issue, resolve that. But as interest rates rise globally, this is becoming business finance is becoming a bigger issue. And if you're relying on employees to finance your cash flow, there's something in the business that you need to look at, whether it's margins, pricing, whatever. But the more companies that can pay more regularly, think about the benefit to employees. The companies, look, I understand that if a business is on the brink and they're struggling and they can't make it, then don't make the switch. But Discovery Health and Absa and Standard Bank, these banks should be paying twice a month. They can afford it. Okay. Yep. There's no reason why they shouldn't. And maybe even start with saying, let's just go after the big corporates that are sitting with large piles of cash. that shareholders get paid out big dividends on, and let's get them to start paying people more regularly. It doesn't have to be the small businesses who are struggling to make ends meet every month, and that's fine.
And what business doesn't want to stimulate the economy in some way? I mean, this could really. And we don't need more. We're not asking you to pay more. We're just asking you to pay more regularly. That's all.
Well, we're asking you not to use your employees to finance your businesses. Now, again, for small businesses, I understand. But like my brother runs runs pot of curry in East London. It's a curry shop. He pays wages every week because it's a cash business. He doesn't have to hold on to people's money for the whole month, right? Now, small businesses typically pay wages, or most small towns, these small businesses are all people on wages, and that's fine. I'm talking about more corporate South Africa, right? Where they have these big cash balances. They've got shareholders. They're publicly listed companies. They don't have cash flow problems. I'm not going after the small businesses. That's fine. Do what you have to do to survive and thrive and build your business up. But these big companies sitting on big cash piles, they should be paying more often, because all they're doing is they're leaving their money in the bank account for 30 days and they're earning the interest on it, and that interest is going to their shareholders. It makes no sense.
Correct. What are you busy with at the moment? You've always got 1,000 plates spinning in the air at once. What are you doing right now? How busy are you?
I'm pretty busy. I'm working on a company called Wait Room, WAIT Room. It's basically, we're building a better video chat conferencing platform that you can use. Right now, it's all about efficient, fast meetings. So you can meet with 20 people and everyone gets 2 minutes, and you can run through it in 40 minutes. You can get through everyone, nice. And everyone gets a better share of mic and more airtime. It's really about making video conferencing better, because we transitioned from COVID into post-COVID world where everyone's virtual and online in meetings. We didn't actually change the culture of how these meetings work. And for me to drive across town to meet with someone, yeah, sure, I can spend half an hour with them, have a cup of coffee, relax. I'm moving atoms across distance. There's a huge energy expenditure for that. But when I'm just clicking a link to chat to someone on video, do I need to spend 20 minutes with pleasantries? Maybe it's a quick 5 or 10 minute chat.
No, please no.
Yeah, and I can get through a lot more meetings in a single day if everyone just get, everyone's, how many times I get the, Vinny, can you give me 5 minutes of your time? And that winds up being a 30-minute slot on my calendar or a 15-minute slot. Now, if I can compress all those into like 12 meetings in an hour, 5 minutes each, I'd be a lot happier. And that's why I built the company.
I can't wait. When that comes out, then I'm going to make that the only
platform. Anyone can go try it.
I love it.
You can go try it today.
I'll go and do that. Wait room. All right, cool.
Yeah.
What else is on your agenda at the moment? I mean, there's quite a lot going on. I know that you've always been very bullish about crypto, and we've been, we've been talking about crypto on this show pretty much since the foundation of cliffcentral.com. A lot of our listeners are investors, and it's not really that great right now. We're looking at pretty shitty prices on Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else, but you still are a true believer, right?
Yeah, reminds me of 2018, 19. It reminds me of 2014, 15. The same cycle repeats itself. Everyone thinks crypto is dead, and then within like a year and a half, it's like booming again. And what you notice is every time we go through these cycles, this cycle is still higher than it was 3 years ago, right? Bitcoin is still 16K. When everyone's in the doldrums, Bitcoin was like 4K, Ethereum was like $70, $80. It's still $1,200. It's not. It's like all relatively depressing, but in absolute terms, we're still on the up and up. And so I just think that it takes time. I mean, this whole Sam Bankman fraud disaster. Wow. Yeah, that just like set us back a while.
Did you just call him? You just called him Sam Bankman fraud.
Yeah. Oh, you called him.
I like that. That's very good. So, all right, you're still positive about this. Simphiwe, are you still thinking about being paid twice a month?
Yes, I'm just thinking, what would I do with that money? I don't think I'd want it for December though. I think I'd be so reckless with it, and but I like it overall. I really do. But I'm like trying to think like my debit orders. So do I have to put my car payment first and then like see how I survive the rest?
Yeah, but people,
that's what we do in America. That's how it works here.
It might make people think about their money a little bit more, and it does give you a bit more wiggle room to plan things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And it shouldn't be mandatory for everyone, but it should be an opt-in option. If you want to get paid twice a month, you should. It shouldn't be mandatory for all employees, but I just think that it's it's something which I think can help the cash flow in South Africa and help a lot of people who struggled on the month-to-month basis.
All right. So, other than that, you've got all these friends in Silicon Valley who you actually have on like your phone. The rest of us just hear about them in the news. What is the vibe on the streets at the moment with Elon taking over Twitter? I mean, how are people feeling about that? How do your circle of friends respond to what's going on? Because we only see the news, and sometimes that has a massive amount of like agenda and hidden, kind of left or right wing bias in it. What do you make of it?
I truly think Elon's trying to do like what's best for the world. I don't believe the conspiracy theories of Elon. I mean, look at what he's done over his life and how he's tried to change the world and how he's done it in many respects. So I think he has a good heart in the sense that he's trying to do the right thing. I don't think it's always easy given the situations and the politics and whatever else. My circle of friends, I actually had 2 friends at my house tonight, and they're super excited about what he's doing at Twitter, because I think that and I guess I am too. I think I'd love to see more transparency in the way things have played out at Twitter. There's if you want freedom, you need freedom of speech, and if you want freedom of speech, you need to not have censorship. And if there is censorship, you need to understand why it was there in the first place. So I'm really pro him opening up what actually went down behind the scenes over the past couple of years, because I'm convinced there was a lot of skullduggery.
Absolutely. And he is dropping bombs already. I mean, I saw that he's basically revealing information about how Twitter did try to influence things like elections, about who the people were, what sort of stuff they were censoring, who's been blocked and banned. And I mean, look, there is this fine line. You guys in America have the First Amendment, which protects free speech. But there's also, private companies can decide to do whatever they want. And Twitter, while it was not run by Elon, was doing whatever it wanted. Some people were bitching and moaning. Some people were being blocked. Some people were being disabled on their Twitter accounts. But now it's his business and he can run it whichever way he sees fit. It does seem to me that he's getting a lot of things going properly technically. He's managed to speed it up. He's managed to improve the algorithms. He's managed to improve the delivery. He's managed to improve ways of automatically blocking things like, for example, hate speech, which is illegal. When you talk about hate speech, hate speech isn't stuff you don't want to hear. That's not hate speech. Hate speech is actively like trying to provoke people to violence and spreading like genocidal and racist shit, which is a very closed category. You've got to know what that is. And of course, there are algorithms that can weed out a lot of that stuff. In fact, he put up a graph the other day. We don't know how much of a difference this has made in terms of people's actual experience of Twitter, but it appears that all of that like really nasty shit is starting to go on the down rather than on the up.
It looks like it. I mean, I think his approach to dealing with the child trafficking and child porn stuff was spot on. I mean, that was like, why do we even have to think about this stuff? Why does it even exist on the platform? And I mean, it's obviously a very difficult problem to solve, given just the amount of like bots and fake accounts and whatever else. And they have been doing it, but like he also has the ability to draw on a very, very powerful team of engineers from SpaceX and Tesla and all these other companies. These are the best and brightest. And I have to be honest, I don't think the best and brightest worked at Twitter for too long. So he's able to bring some fresh blood into the company, and I'm excited to see what he does with it. But it's an important platform for the world. I think Twitter could become the biggest social platform in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm almost betting that it's going to beat Facebook at this point.
I asked you a question at dinner the other night, and you just smiled, because now obviously there are a lot of job openings, and there are a lot of people who've been fired. I mean, the tech businesses in California in particular have been hiring and hiring and hiring more and more and more. They've been growing and growing and growing. Suddenly this year, we see all of these businesses laying off staff. We see them cutting numbers, being more efficient, taking the business in their hands and going, all right, well, we cannot sustain the kind of growth that we've sustained up to now because the economy is suffering. The tech businesses are not able to grow at double digits like they did for how many years, now. So they've got to trim the fat. And so suddenly there are a lot of people who finding themselves out on the street looking for jobs when they thought they'd be sitting pretty for the rest of their lives.
So here's the interesting part about this. If you look at the job cuts that have come out of tech, they've been very much, as you said, trimming the fat. It's not like Google's or Facebook's firing 50% of the employees. They're getting rid of all the junk. Like, no offense to people who got laid off, but they're going after. They're basically looking and saying it's the Jack Welch approach, right? You should be firing 10% of your staff every year. They're just trimming the poor performers in the companies, and they're saying we're not going to keep paying for this. Move on, and they're improving the quality of the people who stay behind. And whenever you do job, in the recessions are good. Okay, fundamentally recessions are good, and we should. I'm actually happy that America is going through this recession, because if the bubble got any bigger, it would have probably imploded. The risk right now is that the recession turns into a depression, which is what Elon's saying, and I actually agree with him. And that the Fed is playing a very they're walking a very tightrope right now, and it can go either way. And so maybe there's a soft landing, but it's a very, very, very narrow margin, of error that they can make getting us there. It's also having a knock-on effect to the rest of the world. I mean, let's be honest. A year ago, any idiot with a 2-page plan could go raise money in the US. It was free money for everyone. It was really, really getting out of control. And I've seen some really bad companies at really bad prices, high valuations, raise money, and they're not going to make it. So recessions are good because it kind of renormalizes value creation in industry. But I think a lot of companies are using this as a free, as a free pass to go and lay off a whole bunch of people. Because to do it in an upswing is really hard to tell shareholders, hey, we're laying off people, we're not growing fast enough. It's the wrong message. Now it's hey, we're just cutting costs, we're conserving money. Now shareholders are happy about that, right? So I think I think a lot of companies are exploiting this opportunity for good to make themselves more capital efficient.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't want anyone to be fired, but I did see this video, which has been circulating on the internet. I wanted to hear your and Simphiwe's comments on this. This is a former Twitter employee who's now speaking out. But just listen to how this is. First of all, it opens with her and her emotional support dog. All right, so this is the kind of person who was in charge of censoring at Twitter. Just take a look at this.
In her San Francisco home with some moral support from her dog Biscuit, Melissa Engel follows the rapid-fire changes at her former employer.
On the current path, I'm really, really worried about Twitter's future.
On November 12th, she learned she'd been let go, first by losing access to her accounts, then an email. She says other former full-time employees have told her they had to sign an NDA to get their severance benefits. But because she was a contract worker, that doesn't apply to her, so she's speaking out.
I'm not given a severance package. They can't take that away from me, and I think people need to know about this situation.
The layoffs, followed by an employee exodus, came just days before Elon Musk reinstated former President Donald Trump's account Saturday evening. Cal State East Bay professor Grant Kian says the move appears strategic.
He gets to say that he's rescuing democracy and reintroducing a certain type of political discourse on Twitter, even while it overshadows for the moment some of the really tough news that people at Twitter have had in the past couple of weeks.
While the focus might be on Trump's account now, Kian notes that the absence of employees like Engel who checked content will shape users' experience on Twitter.
Those losses of personnel are going to be felt.
Just over time, these things build up and the site will become more abusive, more extreme, and less reliable over time.
Alyssa Gord, Today in the Bay.
Well, I mean, there's so much to be said about that. First of all, that is the person who used to check content. That was what was, part of her job was to check content. This is, I shudder to think what kind of stuff that. By the way, she's completely wrong already, because it appears it has got better, not worse. And not more abusive, less abusive. It certainly, the child porn stuff that you brought up just now that he's managed to get rid of. How come they didn't do that before? Why wasn't that person checking for that? I mean,
I don't know.
Gareth, how dare you ask why wasn't this person doing their job? She doesn't even understand why she was fired. She doesn't. She's just like, no, why? So sure.
So I mean, let's dig into this a little bit. I mean, one of the reasons that we've got this problem on Twitter is that this need for anonymity, across the board. it's kind of like no one does and says silly things like this in a public setting, at a town hall or whatever. They do it because they effectively are like faceless individuals sitting behind a computer screen. And in some cases, there could be foreign entities as well. So it could be like, let's not underplay even the whole Russian sort of 2016 and stuff. Like, yeah, there were probably Russians just making up crap on Facebook and Twitter and trying to steer the election. And maybe they succeeded, maybe they didn't. It didn't matter. The point is, if you can't identify who is sending a message securely, it can be anyone. It can be AI. Look at the AI stuff that we're seeing from GPT-4 today. Like, the stuff is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So AI can probably produce better content right now than humans. In fact, I'd say that AI can do better content than 80% of humans in the world right now.
And do we really need like a human with all their flaws deciding who can and can't speak in the public square? That's outrageous. And what I love more than anything else is that we're getting to see what kind of really dodgy and non-free speech stuff Twitter was doing before. It's unbelievable. All right, I'm going to let you go. I know you've got a long day ahead of you. You haven't even been to sleep yet, and it's what time is it over there now? 1:30 in the morning.
It's only 9:30 at night. So I'm good.
Okay. Well, listen, Vinny, be good and keep doing the amazing work that you're doing. And love to the family. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks, Simphiwe. Thanks, Gareth.
Thanks,
see you guys
dude.
soon.
Very nice to see you. Cheers. There's Vinny Lingham, everybody, just getting us thinking right this Friday morning. Don't say we don't bring you like interesting ideas. I can see still a lot of debate going on about this 2 payday solution. But it seems to me like if some companies can do it, why the hell not?
Let's see how it goes. If it doesn't work, then we'll go back to once a month. I think people will enjoy the fact that they're not getting paid twice. Well, no, 12 times in a year. So think of it like that.
It's the same. It's the same money. It's not going to change the total amount of money. So let's just see. Anyway, also lots of people commenting on the Twitter employee. Now, I'm sorry if I just brought up her picture again and you just paused it on. This is not a stable individual, and this person's deciding who can and can't say something on Twitter. It's just it boggles the mind. You think to yourself, how is this possible? That this is the person who decides. Anyway. It's just unbelievable. Work for yourself. You get lucky. You're lucky to get paid every 2 months. Yeah, that's true, Steve. That's true, dude. I hear you. I mean, something to think about, right? So, Simphiwe, let's just talk about one other thing that you wanted to discuss. There's apparently a new local reality show. And, if you didn't tell me what TV shows were on, I would know nothing about that either. So thank God. I did tell you I watched The Real Huisvrouwen van Pretoria or whatever it's called.
Yeah, you did,
one episode and it was enough. I can't watch it.
I don't know if you'll watch this one. I don't know if I'll watch it, but I saw a trailer for this new reality show on Showmax, and I think Showmax is just obsessed with sex, and it's because the entire show is about girls who have OnlyFans that are strippers and are professional like sex workers. The show is called This Body Works For Me. And it profiles like 6 girls who are in the OnlyFans side of the world and how much money they make and what they get up to and what their day-to-day looks like. There's a girl who's in a relationship and she's dating this guy, and this guy's like, I'm not happy with you being on OnlyFans. She's like, well, if you can pay me the amount of money I make on OnlyFans, then I'll leave it. And it just went silence. Like, he can't match the amount of money she's making on it. And this is all South African girls. Like, there's one from the East Rand. I was like, oh my gosh. And there's like only from like, I think Eastern Cape and whatnot. And they all come together and they show us their life and how they create this content and what it takes to create this content. So if you're into some OnlyFans content, get to know the people that you subscribe to a bit better.
Well, there we go, everybody. You can now you can get to go behind the scenes on OnlyFans. You thought you already were behind the scenes, but you knew nothing.
you know nothing at all. So now you get to see how much money they make. I'm always fascinated at like the amount of money people can make on these platforms, and I'm just like, why did they have to bring me up with morals? Why did I have to grow up in a house that would just judge me if I did like? Why, Lord? Because right now I could be a millionaire.
Well, like that Cash Me Outside woman who was on Dr. Phil. You remember that girl who was on there with her mom, and she's like, "Cash me outside. How about that?" Remember that she wanted to like fuck up her own mother in the parking lot or whatever. This is now, this person is like a dollar millionaire from OnlyFans. She's showing her titties, and she's earned over $1 million from useless, stupid men all over the world who want to pay to see her naked.
Make
Mind
that
blown.
make sense. Like,
Mind blown. I spend my days and my nights, like so many of us, thinking about how I can make money, what I can sell, what kind of products I can deliver to the world that haven't already been invented, where I can create a gap in the market, how I can make things work. I'm stupid. I am dumber than the Cash Me Outside girl. I know someone's going to clip that. Someone's going to cut that out. And they're going to use over and over again. If you find it on Twitter tomorrow, and someone's going to be, "Oh, yeah, we always thought you were a moron, Gareth. Now you've admitted it yourself." I am dumber than the Cash Me Outside girl because she is a millionaire in dollars. I'm not.
yeah, like, and I'm always just like, why couldn't I be that person who's okay with scamming people? Why couldn't I be the person who's okay with just, doing a heist and now OnlyFans? Like, why, God, like, why do I have to be like, you know what? No, we're gonna work hard for our money. We're gonna be an honest individual. No, I'm actually tired. I'm just like, yo, because what? You
All right,
take
so
a young picture
this
and you're
show,
like,
so this show is all about like what these people's lives and
yes.
their actual story as opposed to just their nudes.
Yes, so we get to hear about the backstory of how they even got into this industry, if we could call it that. And they all link up and they kind of all know each other, so they'll talk about what they're up to. We get to see some of them in a relationship and how that unfolds. And I'm just fascinated. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. Like, okay, shout out to you guys. And they have I think the one has her mom on there, and her mom is like, I think she's like, "Oh no, that video that trended, yeah, I saw it. It was fine. We can shoot OnlyFans together." I'm like, "Girl,
Well,
seems too
isn't
much."
what the Jenner mom? What's her name? The mom, Kris Jenner. Isn't that what she
Yes.
did with her daughter? I mean, that's she peddled Kim as a like porn star. That's what she did. And look at how
Yes,
well
and I'm
they've done. Those Kardashians are rolling in money. They were the first proper OnlyFans people, right? They and Pamela Anderson and Paris Hilton were like the original people in that business. They were the founding fathers, the OGs of OnlyFans were those three.
yes, and they're definitely milking it, and now it's coming to South Ah. Now girls are like, "Oh, Kim, you've paved the way, so that we can also do what you're doing and
Yeah.
make millions and just
Strong independent women.
Get your bag, honey. I can't judge. Get your bag. I don't know if I'll do it. That's the thing. I always look at it. I'm like, would I do this? No.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then can't judge.
Yeah, right. So I've got to choose now. Am I going to watch Netflix Meghan and Harry, or I'm going to watch this Showmax's My Body Works for Me? Let me weigh them up a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit. Yeah.
just the only one might not have the explicit content that they might
Oh,
just be like, oh,
I'm not looking for
so
Harry and Meghan to be doing like. Although I think the sex tape is not out of the question for Harry and Meghan. I do think somewhere in their future that's what they're going to have to do for money. Just saying.
and they're like, oh, we risked it all. This is it. It's just
Yeah, we're such heroes because we did what we had to do. I can see Meghan now, like looking all stony faced into the camera, going, it was so hard for Harry and me. After years of living in a massive 18-bedroom mansion, we had to downgrade to a 3-bedroom house. And, we have 2 kids. That meant the kids had to share a room. And we used the one room as a study for Harry so he could still occasionally video conference with King Charles, his father. But, now we're so poor, we got to make a sex tape. And we're going to be on OnlyFans tomorrow. And please support us. I can see it now. Telling you. Yonder says, Gareth, you're not dumber. You're just judgmental. In the statement you made, You said stupid men are watching, and the world is full of non-logical people. So sell into that. Yeah. Some card. How much are they making on OnlyFans? Do you know?
It is so Oli once dropped screenshots. She was trending. She is on OnlyFans. She was trending on
Who's
Twitter.
this?
Oli.
Oli.
She's yes. And she once, and this was a couple of months ago. So this is, I haven't watched the show yet, so I can't disclose like how much they're actually making. But this is what she's tweeted before. Someone was like, yeah, how much money are you making? And I think she had gotten over 1 million views. I think she had posted a video on one of the porn sites. She had gotten over 1
Yeah.
million views in like a couple of hours. And the bank account was saying like something along the lines of like 2 point something million that was being deposited in her account from that one video that went viral. So when we say they're making money, we're not talking about 10,000, we're not talking about 50K, we're talking about easily over 100K. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Judgment
Exactly.
and morals and all that shit aside, I mean, like, come on, guys. Like, you can't, that's money. That's serious money. That's not like petrol money to go and join your friends for a drink. That's serious money.
Yes. And this is why they also say they won't leave those platforms, because there ain't no job that's gonna pay her 2 point something million for just working for a couple of hours. It's like, okay, girl, I see you. And the more like people that watch her videos,
Call him Feka, right?
yeah, I think so, yes. The more people that watch her videos, the more she makes money and revenue from it. So if she trends, guys, it's done. And now that she's gotten a reality show, that means she's still getting money from OnlyFans and getting money from the reality show. So she's also a business babe, multiple incomes.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
multiple streams of income. There we go. So
Beth says,
yeah.
and when their bits start drooping, what is their plan? Well, I mean, by then they've hopefully made so much money that they are investing in other things. They might start a shisanyama. You never
Open
know,
up
right?
a business, Yana. You never know. You never know. But
Okay.
they milking it. So if you're considering this, maybe you think this is what you want to do, then maybe watch the reality show. Maybe it'll give you an insight of what actually happens, and then create that, OnlyFans. And we already have Mash who's created his, so maybe this will give him the encouragement to be serious and push through to make those millions, okay?
Maybe Mash
And
can
whilst we
make
at it, support Mash so that if
Yeah.
he eats nice, we all eat nice. I'll live vicariously through him. Support
Exactly.
Mash's OnlyFans, y'all. I don't
There
have
we
the
go.
thing, but
Yes. He will share his handle on Monday so that everybody can join in.
yes.
So they're bringing out some new money. Did you hear about this? They bring out new
Yes.
coins.
I'm not
South
sure
African coins.
how I feel about this, but I'm like low-key, high-key excited. I know like there's a whole thing about changing money or whatever, but I'm always like, oh, how did you guys pick this? Like in your mind,
Okay.
you're like, it's time to change the money.
Have a look. Here's what we've got. So the new 5 rand will have whales on it. The whales that live in the sea.
So no, it's currently Mandela, right? If I'm not mistaken.
The 5 rand. I'm not sure which side of the coin this is, but the 5 rand is whales. The 2 rand is going to be, looks like springboks. The 1 rand is the protea, which is our national flower. The 50 cent is a luri, a Neisner luri, which is a very beautiful bird. The 10 cent is a bee, as in the little honeybee. So, I mean, these are all natural treasures, and South Africa has these amazing animals, and we have the natural resources and the heritage that we have in terms of the fauna and flora of South Africa. So I like this. I like there's a bit of a celebration of what makes South Africa a beautiful place, and our oceans, our forests, our flowers. I think it's great. This is lovely. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And also, it's not political, right? These are, which is so nice, because must everything always be political? Let's just have some celebration of our natural heritage. Yeah, I love it. So they're going to bring out these coins
just
soon.
curious to know what, like, do we have to change like the coins every 5 years? Is it a every, like, what gets us to like, oh, we need to look at the money and change it? That's the only thing I'm curious about. And is that there like someone who sits and is like, well, the last 10 years we had Nelson Mandela. This we're gonna
Hmm.
have the flowers, and then now it's like,
I think we have to. They do it every couple of years anyway. I mean, every mint in every country decides to issue new sets of coins because the old ones come out of circulation. I mean, for example, when last did you see a 1 or 2 cent coin? You just don't see them anymore, right? So they've
mhm.
taken them out of circulation, and you will still find like people who've got like a coin collection at home, or I've got this bottle I put all kinds of old coins in, and then at the end of the month or the year, I look at them and I go, okay, well that's like 20 rand or whatever, whatever. But I haven't seen a 1 cent or a 2 cent, even a 5 cent coin for a long time. So they have to keep changing them, updating them, and it's also good because you can remove a lot of fake stuff from the environment. So
Okay.
obviously, there are people who are minting fake coins, and it's good to keep changing them. For example, there's still those presidential inauguration 5 rand coins going around, which have the Union buildings on them. So it's a commemorative thing too. And for people who collect coins, there are different editions that come out every couple of years. So it's nice to see this. It means the mint is doing their job. So let's see. Chris says, lol, Gareth, 3 months ago, you were moaning about the new coins as a wasted resource. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I know. I'm not always consistent. I'm not God. I fuck up sometimes. I'm glad it gives you such joy, Chris. Go and enjoy your weekend and stop being such a curmudgeon, all right? Carl says, it doesn't matter what you put on the coins. The money is still worth fuck all, thanks to Cyril. This army. Carl. You're right. Oh, my God. Oh, I went and paid for parking the other day.
Oh
And
no.
yeah. So I put in a 50 rand note because it's all I had on me. And it spat out like a whole bunch of 2 rands and 5 rands. And then
I
I had to
hate it
carry
when that happens.
to carry a handful of these coins, and now they're sitting in the car, and I know what's going to happen. I'm just going to give them away to people at the traffic lights, and before I've known it, I've like given away 45 rand, which is what it
Yes,
was.
because it's coins. You just like, I don't want a whole like pocket of coins, so just chief, there you go. And before you know it, it's gone. I saw a TikTok video of a chick who said, "Any man that runs after a coin, I'm done with." And then people were having her. They're like, "Honey, in Cyril's
Really?
economy, you better run after that 1 rand. You
I,
better run."
I'm not going to drop a rand and just leave it.
Like, who
That's
does that?
disrespectful to money. I remember a woman called Susie Orman. She's still around. I mean, she's like this financial guru. I interviewed her years ago when she was in South Africa. She was doing some conference. She said to me, what you've got to do is you've got to make sure your money is treated with respect. Then money will respect you and more of it will come to you. She used to say, like, for example, in your wallet, you put the bigger denominations at the back, all facing forward, none of those bent edges, and that you flatten out your notes. She said you put your coins in organized fashion in something, like a container of some kind if you don't want to carry them around. But she said these people who have a messy wallet or have a messy purse, money doesn't respect them. So, you know what? She's very wealthy. I'm not. So maybe she had a point. I try to be organized. I've got the tiniest little wallet ever now, so I can't put coins in it.
Okay, so that's
I'll tell you what I've got in here. I've got my cards and I've got 150 rand. That's all I've got. 150 rand. That's all I got
So
in
I
there. But
think
it's organized.
I agree
Tight.
with that lady's theory because I've seen it with taxi drivers. So when I used to take taxis, I used to like sitting in front to count the money, and also it's a bit more comfortable. Don't need to deal with people after awards. And what they would do, like after you count the money and you basically have to say, oh, the whole ride is like 200 rand, right?
Yeah.
He would force you to make sure that you put it in order. So like don't just give him like 50 rand in the middle, the 10 rand at the bottom or not. So you'd have
Organized.
very organized, and then like if you're gonna give it to him, you must also put like if the face is facing on top, all the notes must be like that. Put the 5 rand, then the 2 rand, then whatnot. And I never understood like why they so pedantic over the fact on how you give them the money. And now I get it. It's because you must respect the money. And I see this is why taxi bosses are so rich. It's because they respect their money
you're
that
right.
they get in cash.
Right. I think Carl says, all I can say is my money don't jiggle, jiggle.
Jiggle, jiggle.
It folds.
It folds. Dun, dun. That song trended on TikTok.
George Meany, come. It's time for us to talk to George. Let's get him on here. So apparently, I mean, Nikki said, where's the 20 cent? I think they may be getting rid of it. It looks like it, if that's the... Here, let me go back to that picture. There was no 20 cent there. Yeah. 1 rand, 10 cent, 50 cent, 5 rand, 2 rand. Is that all we're doing, SA Mint? Are we canning the 20 cent? Sure. Shem. Shem. 20 cents gone. It's over. I stopped carrying a wallet, says Yonder, 2 years ago, and now even the parking guys on the street have tapping paying machines. Yes, they do. There's a guy who's selling flowers from a bucket on the corner of a street near me, and he has one of those Yoko things that can tap. You can put your card in. No problem.
The times. Even at church, they'll be like, oh, you can pay your tithes or offering by just going to that speed point over there. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, God also accepts EFTs.
George Meany, how are you, sir?
I'm good, and you, Gareth? Sorry, my gardener, his timing is impeccable. I was like just about to click on the link, and the doorbell rang.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hello. At least he wasn't mowing the lawn at the same time. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to hear you. So, George, what do we got this week? Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Let me put my phone on silent because that will ring. So the first thing is, ICE vehicles or internal combustion engine vehicles have battled and not been able to reach the under 2 second 0 to 100 kilometers per hour race to 100 k's an hour. So, you get supercars, hypercars, and they're doing in the 3 seconds. Most of the time, super bikes can do between 2 and 3 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. But ever since the advent of electric vehicles, this time from 0 to 100 has come way down. I mean, with the Model S, that the Plaid that's just been released by Elon Musk, he was able to get the car to do 0 to 100, I think, in about 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds. But there's another car that's taken the record, and that is this car by the name of a Batista. And this is what it looks like. It's called a Batista.
Oh.
This car company was actually formed in 1930, but they've just designed and developed a fully electric, battery electric hypercar, which is this Batista. Beautiful.
Looks good.
Very, very
It's like a really nice car. I like it.
This Batista can do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 1.8 seconds.
Sure.
Now that's fast. I mean, I don't know the fastest car you've been in, Gareth, but that's fast.
George, if your takeoff time is that fast, you could spin out of control very, very easily, right? I mean, if you've got wheels that are moving that quickly, the engine that's delivering that much power, you better have your hands tight on that steering wheel, and you better be going forward and have a little bit of space and wiggle room, because you might cause big shit. To go from 0 to 100 in that kind of time is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And this car, so that while they've designed the car to go that quick at 1.8 seconds, they've also had to think about the brakes, because you've got to stop the thing. And the car can do 100 kilometers an hour to 0 in 31 meters.
Speaking of brakes, I heard you on your podcast, on the Auto Trader podcast, talking about how you reckon that one of the best ways people can learn to drive better, save on fuel, everything, and have just an all-round, more like civilized way of behaving in the car is to learn how to brake properly and to brake less. And it was kind of a funny moment in the promo that I've seen, where you laugh that you're not telling people not to use their brakes. You don't want to cause crashes, but like you can be a little more judicious about how you use your brakes, and it's good. It's good to do that.
There's a whole bunch of reasons to do it. And, besides saving fuel, because I feel like using your brakes less, anticipating the stop, stops you from accelerating hard and stops you from braking hard, which then uses less fuel. But it also is safer because, one of the biggest safety tips I ever give people is the criminal can't break your window. A criminal can't hijack you if the car is moving. So have this mindset of a continually moving car. A human being can only run at about 20 odd kilometers per hour for a couple of seconds.
Good point. Well put. See, we learn new things every week. What else you got for us?
So this is an interesting one for people going on holiday in December, and that is some babies. Why do some babies hate car seats?
They're uncomfortable?
Yeah, so they've done a little bit of research around this, and it turns out that it's not uncommon. I mean, babies are human beings. They're just ones that can't communicate properly. They haven't really developed, so they can't express what's wrong. And a lot of the time, it turns out that the car seat has been improperly installed. That the child gets motion sickness or gets bored.
That's why they cry so much in the back, in the car seat, right?
If the child's eaten food recently, the car ride and the tight belts can make their stomach upset.
You don't want that.
And many parents put a child in a car seat, and because they're strapped in and they can't move, it's a recipe for just leaving them alone. The child still has to be stimulated and not be bored.
Yes.
Okay.
These are all good points. Yeah, I don't care because I don't have children, but I feel sorry. I feel sorry for people who have to think about this shit, because I've seen even with babies that I know, nephews, friends who have kids, it's a major thing to get them into their car seats, and they complain and they bitch and moan. And even up to the age of like 4 or 5 or 6, the kids are still complaining about that stuff. So I get it. I'm with you, parents. I'm with you.
So the other thing about car seats is, up to what age is a car seat appropriate? Now, that's the wrong question to ask. The reason a car seat exists for toddlers and for children getting older is not because of the car seat itself. It's because of the height of the child and the seatbelt across the neck of the car. That's the reason the car seat mainly exists, is because the car itself doesn't have seatbelts to strap in a little human being.
Right. So it doesn't matter how old, but it's about how well the kid fits into one of the adult seats, or it needs to be in a car seat.
Correct. Yes, and so the test is really is to see where the seatbelt crosses the child, and whether the child is tall enough or not. You can have a child on a booster seat or a car seat up to the age of 13. Some kids are really short.
A little bit embarrassing though for a 13-year-old, because their friends don't want to see them in a car seat. I mean, George, do you think that there are 20 and 30-year-olds who are still attached to their car seats? Maybe it's like,
I think some 20-year-olds should have a car seat.
Strange, like adult child fantasy thing where the kid is like, or the adult is like, oh, would you be car seat? Because they still talk like a baby and all that stuff. Oh my God.
It's like having a dummy at the age of 12.
Right. It's a bit of a problem.
Some adults need them though, talk too much.
All right.
And then finally, this Lada was modified by a crowd called Garage 54. This was just an interesting YouTube video, and I can post the link, but I'll show you some photographs. But what they did with this Lada is they put 4 steering wheels in the car. Okay. And it was just a fun project for these 4 crazy guys. And each steering wheel controlled 1 wheel. And they thought, well, this is going to be an exercise of teamwork. Let's see if we can get this car to actually drive through a slalom around a track. And they failed dismally, proving that human beings just can't work together.
What a mess. So they could not, with each of the wheels being in control of one person, there was no way the 4 of them could get it to work properly. I'm not surprised.
They crashed this car in the bushes. They almost turned it upside down. It was, if you watch the YouTube video, it is an absolute laugh. So I'll post the link to the actual video itself. But it just proves, human beings working together, very difficult thing to get right.
All right, everybody, have a happy weekend. We will see you on Monday morning, bright and early. Be good. If you're not, take photos. We will see you then. Cheers.